This is TechCrunch. The U.S. government shutdown could stifle deal flow, freeze visa processing for workers, and cause other problems for startups and the broader tech sector, especially if it lasts longer than a week. That's according to experts who spoke to TechCrunch. The U.S. government shutdown, which began on Tuesday, is the first one in 7 years. The unpredictability of the Trump administration, coupled with a politically entrenched Congress, makes it hard to predict when the shutdown will end. Out of 8 shutdowns since 1990, 4 have happened during Trump administrations. The last one lasted 35 days, the longest in modern history. TechCrunch spoke to investors, founders, and lawyers who warned about delayed deal flow and visa processing for workers. The visa process had already been upended when President Trump recently announced the application fee for an H-1B visa would increase to $100,000, a number that caused sticker shock within the industry. The main concern is a slowed-down immigration process for startups, since the Department of Labor, which provides first approval for H-1B visas and green cards, is shut down. The result, immigration attorney Sophie Alcorn said, is that the pipeline for hiring and renewing visas for high-skilled workers is completely frozen. She told TechCrunch that creates significant uncertainty for a startup's workforce, including founders who may be on visas themselves. Michael Scarpati, CEO and founder of the fintech Retire US, added, "Visa workers are hit hard in a shutdown because their status depends on government approvals. When processes like E-Verify or labor certifications stop, workers risk falling out of status, leaving their future in the U.S. uncertain and creating added disruption for the businesses that depend on them." Thousands of workers in tech are on visas, many of them bringing partners and children with them. Many are understandably nervous about processing delays and how that affects their ability to stay and work. But just as engineers help us persevere through complex challenges with ML algorithms and innovation, we owe them the same careful attention and commitment during this situation. That's according to Chris Chibb, CEO of the strategy solutions company Bluefin Solves. Startups may also be affected by delayed or stopped permitting processes and other regulatory requirements, which could drain precious funds and even lead to layoffs. Jenny Fielding, manager partner at Everywhere Ventures, said ongoing political uncertainty always worries her. Though past shutdowns have had little economic impact, this one could lead to layoffs if it lasts too long. She said, "Since we invest in many regulated areas, the shutdown can potentially halt/slow down essential government functions like FDA approvals or aerospace permits, which can be an existential threat to a startup whose entire business model depends on a single regulatory green light." Fielding said the timing of the shutdown has, once again, been terrible for her and the firm. When Everywhere Ventures started fundraising in early spring, President Trump announced the tariffs that caused uncertainty and drove up costs for some companies. The firm held off on fundraising at the time because limited partners were nervous about investing given the uncertain climate. She said, "And of course, we kicked off fundraising this week, so once again, terrible timing." As for Fielding's startups, she said it's hard to wait and see in this case. Founders always need to think about a plan B, she said, especially because capital is finite. She continued with, "If it's a week-long shutdown, then that's manageable. But when it becomes weeks, then it can get uncomfortable." Garima Kapoor co-founded the software company Men.io with her husband, who came to the U.S. on an H-1B visa a little over a decade ago. She said startups should start preparing now, just in case the government shutdown is prolonged. Kapoor told TechCrunch, "When government agencies slow down, deals in highly regulated industries like fintech, health tech, and M&A can grind to a halt. Even companies operating outside the federal sphere could face shrinking valuations and tougher deal terms as more uncertainty seeps into the market." Overall, founders should remain proactive, communicate transparently with partners and investors, and plan prudently for slippage, noting that clarity and alignment will be key. Preparedness will separate those who weather the disruption from those who get caught flat-footed, she said. Chib echoed that sentiment. Their resilience is part of what drives progress forward. To those facing these challenges, know this too shall pass. Persevere. Bryan Onel's father was a locksmith. As for Onel, he described himself as the digital equivalent. Ethical hacking was Onel's hobby growing up. He studied AI at college and then turned that hacking hobby into a profession. Onel told TechCrunch, "I spent a decade performing penetration tests for over 150 companies across all sectors." He added that he kept easily breaking into companies that had passed their security checks. Onel realized that security often fell within two brackets: painful but effective, or painless but ineffective. Most companies were doing the bare minimum in cybersecurity and compliance, as it often takes too much work and tools and talent to provide effective security defenses. Onel's clients kept asking if he could provide a solution to their problems, so he gave it a shot. In 2022, he teamed up with his wife Aura and college friend Eric Vogelzang and launched Oneleet, an all-in-one security compliance platform. The startup aims to help other companies get their security certifications while helping them become more secure faster. Onel tells TechCrunch that most existing compliance platforms are evidence collection tools, where users import data from their various products, pay a fee, and then voila, out spits a security certificate saying they are secure. Onel said, "The result is compliance theater. You're certified on paper, but still vulnerable to all kinds of attacks." Oneleet is different, Onel says. The platform includes a suite of security tools, penetrating testing, code scanning, cloud data security, attack surface management, security training, and more, which aims to provide a better window into a company's security defenses, he says. Onel went on to say that because it's integrated from the ground up, we can deploy comprehensive security with the click of a button. That saves clients hundreds of hours and eliminates the blind spots that come from managing fragmented tools. Oneleet then partners with independent auditors to provide formal certification reviews. On Thursday, Oneleet announced it raised a $33 million Series A funding round led by Dawn Capital to help grow the business. Onel called his fundraising process straightforward and said he met Dawn Capital in San Francisco, where he described immediate chemistry. Onel said they already had deep knowledge of the security and compliance space and immediately understood what we were building at Oneleet, so there was instant alignment. Oneleet participated in the summer 2022 class of Y Combinator and said 2/3 of new additions to the VC firm's portfolio companies are now its clients. Competitors in this space include Vanta, SecureFrame, and Sprinto. For its part, Oneleet has reached $9 million in annual recurring revenue and has raised $35 million in total to date. The fresh cash injection will be used to expand Oneleet's engineering team, increase its AI capabilities, and find ways to reach more customers. The goal is to end security theater in compliance, he said, at a time when defending against cyber attacks is more important than ever. Onel said that AI is changing the scale of cyber attacks. He said, for example, advanced bad actors are automating cybercrimes while lowering the bar for novice hackers to strike with malicious attacks. He said companies are also being reckless, like carelessly using vibe coding tools or giving AI access to business-critical information without the right guardrails. In the world of compliance, Onel said companies can use AI to generate fake documentation to make it seem as if the business is more secure than it is. Onel says his company heavily uses AI, working in the background for threat modeling and other security assessments, and also helps draft policies. But he said the company has a human team verifying information, so the client does not see any hallucinations. Onel said that good security should be invisible. Companies should spend less time worrying about security and more time building great products. We have a shot at helping companies defend themselves more effectively than ever before. That's it from TechCrunch. For more tech stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.